Hi everybody, hi every spirit. Welcome once again to our podcast Spirit to Ball. Thank you very much for being here. I welcome you and I welcome our co-host, our beautiful Mistaria. Hi
Hi
Mistaria.
everyone. Hi EsotericCloudSurfer. Hi
Thank you.
each and every spirit. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to our podcast and I wish you are enjoying these podcasts and our conversations.
Remember to check the links in the description down below. You have my link tree, Mistaria's link tree. You have a way to donate and support to us. You have our gaming channels. You have our our Instagram pages where we expose our art and clothing, for example, that Mistaria does. We have a lot of services that you can uh, request to us. We have also tarot readings, things like that, astrological readings, dream readings, life path, psychic path readings. Use the email in the description down below to contact us and book any service. So, I hope your week ended in a strong way. You know that's what the weekend is for, because it ends the weakness, it ends the weak energies, because it's Saturday and Sunday, the more quote unquote more important stars. Saturn, the first star to be aware, to exist in this realm. That's why he's so further away, because it started in the same place as we did and already traveled way further. And then the Sun, it's the more important, closest to us, and Saturn is the more important, further away from us. And basically, they are the same thing, or they represent the same things, but the Sun still needs to experience way more. But like the Sun rules Leo, Saturn rules Aquarius, so you already see that opposition. You already see that balancing as well.
That composition
Yeah,
as well?
that composition. Okay,
Yeah.
so those 2 days, Saturn Day and Sunday, it's the days where you can claim your individuality back. You can claim your power and authority over your individuality, over the things you pay attention to, how how people see you. You can place limits and boundaries on that as well. So you are working for you, hopefully, but many people end up working for others during the week. That's why they weak. And then the week ends and they come back to their own personal perspective and space. All right, so I hope you enjoyed. It's Sunday today, Sun in Gemini, Moon in Scorpio, almost full moon. It's an in conjunction right now. You might want to communicate a lot, but you kind of, or you or others might feel and react weird, because it's like you communicating too much, you opening too much. Others, and you need to be more private, you need to be more behind closed doors. But if you already have a deep relationship, not a relationship that was created recently, a relationship that is already deep, secure, and fixed, then you can be all Gemini. Then you can open up and talk about everything with that deep, powerful relationship that you already have constructed. All right, and you might think things are going smooth and light, but people will have some intentions behind closed doors that you can see, because Gemini is logic and light, and Scorpio is heavy and emotional. So you might see them, but you might not understand, you might not react, you might not see that for what it is, because it's in conjunction in the end of the day. But by being in the wrong place, wrong time, and many times, you find how to be in the right place, right time. You can't be afraid of life. You have to experience, but keep in mind that you might, in your mental awareness, everything might be going smooth, and then suddenly you said something or somebody said something that made the mood really heavy. So keep that in mind. How do you describe today's energies, Mysterio?
I was noticing that the moon right now is conjuncting the south node as well in Scorpio. So right now we might be feeling a certain way about how we feel, what we already know, how we feel comfortable, and how what we already experienced, and now we are experiencing that more deeply, more internally, because the moon right
Yeah.
now is in general
in Scorpio,
in
and South
Scorpio.
Node, which is comfort, being staying in the same place,
Yeah.
and you might be forced to like open up or to participate in conversations about topics that either you don't want to show you know something, or you really don't know something about that topic, because the moon is in the South Node. So you will feel the need to stay comfortable, to not show that you don't know something, or to not show that you know something. But the sun in Gemini will make you and others want to communicate and open up. So you might be feeling internal, you might be catering more to the scorpionic side of today, but like a thought will pop in your mind, something you watching,
Mhm.
a person might appear in your life,
Yeah.
and it will make you at least think
Mhm.
about something that makes you feel more uncomfortable,
Yeah.
makes you feel more detached,
Yeah.
makes you feel like you have to walk a bit further to feel fulfilled or comfortable.
Mhm.
Keep in mind the full moon is right at the corner, so don't force anything,
Yeah.
and have a purpose for anything that you are doing out of your comfort zone, because the moon now is in the South Node, right? So if you force yourself too much into North Node circumstances, uncomfortability, newness, not being sure, you need to create a
Mhm.
mentality to be
Yeah.
sure in that place. It might then reveal itself to be too much emotions, too much movement, too much action, too much aggressiveness in areas that you'll be more comfortable, more stable, and more safe.
Yeah, indeed. And Mercury is helping with Mercury in Taurus, 29 degrees, is helping also you creating that mentality, that mind for you to be more balancing of those energies.
True.
And be able to express your emotions in a more lighter ways, and also discern of what emotions you should actually
Or where you show
the
those emotions, to
circumstances.
whom you're showing
Indeed.
those
Indeed.
emotions. Yeah,
Because with that Taurus energy, it will be more of a refined energy. You can see the circumstantial. Where should
you
you
can
do
see
that?
if it's profitable or not,
Mhm.
esoterically speaking.
You can see if that's stable or not.
Yeah, because you might have been going through something internal that not everybody will relate with. So it's not worth it to communicate that to a light relationship.
Mhm.
So Mercury in Taurus help us think and analyze our conversations and relationships, and see if they are stable, strong, and valuable enough in order to open up about something private, deep, and you feel it's weird because it's Scorpio,
Mhm.
and Scorpio suffers from that. It has an image, a weird image. It's not weird in itself. There is way more weirder signs: Cap, Aquarius, Virgos, Gemini's itself. But Scorpios, especially Scorpio Sun, if you have a Scorpio Sun, you carry a weird image. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean you weird. It doesn't mean you crazy.
Mhm.
You just carry that image.
You just have that deep image of yourself, so that in
Yeah.
itself makes that deep with the Martian energy. You're feeling that intense intention behind what you do, how you express yourself. It's an emotional value, an emotional. You are carrying like an emotional aura
Yeah,
around you.
a tone, a frequency,
Yeah.
and vibration.
And as always, the water signs are the ones that actually create the environment
Yeah.
and help bring that environment to a certain flow, to a certain mood.
That's I usually say that water signs have more responsibility because they create the environment, but they also have more power, right?
Mhm.
Like air signs, we take things lighter, but we might have less power. The things that we say are taken unless you have heavy Aquarius energies like me, right? Which make people react more serious to everything that I say.
But you are able to detach,
Yeah.
while the Scorpio attaches more.
Attaches itself and gives meaning, gives a desire, gives maybe a sense of revenge or deep love.
An intent,
You
a
see?
powerful intent.
So we are doing the same thing, but me having air energy, I'm lighter, and the way I communicate is lighter. So it might not impact you so much. But if it is a water sign, it will impact you and the environment way more. all right? And we were talking about how does Martian energy of the Scorpio moon can put us into deeper or unnecessarily deep feelings or emotions that we don't want to open up, and we might be forced to open up in the wrong circumstances because you are being forced, so you miss your timing, you know? You don't do it, you are forcing. So this takes us to our first topic of today, which is Venus and Mars balance. It was Mystaria that introduced this topic, so I'll let her kick it in, but I just want you to keep in mind that Mercury and Venus are in Taurus right now. So we are experiencing right now this balance or this balance, depend on how you're doing it, between Venus energy and Mars energy. So Mystaria, share with us what you wanna bring.
Okay, so with Mars and Venus, we already know that Mars was born out of the first house, being the masculine side, Aries, cardinal fire, and the feminine side of Mars being Scorpio, fixed water, and Venus being second house, feminine, masculine side, Taurus, and Libra being its masculine. Oh, did I say masculine with the Taurus? I wanted to say feminine side of Venus is Taurus and the masculine side is Libra, and that is a misconjunction in itself when you relate the Venusian signs, Taurus and Libra, which is an inconjunction, a misunderstanding between how you value and what you express and communicate, and how you create ways to communicate about it, about your values and things like that. So that might create a misunderstanding, as well as a misunderstanding with Mars energy, which is that passionate Aries expressing and creating new ways to express your passions, your ideas, your motivations, your desires, and how you see the world, how you create new ways to see the world, in conjuncting Scorpio being the feminine side of Mars, being more fixed on your own way to feel and things like that. So what I wanted to relate here is how Venus and Mars create an X. So by you relating Mars and Venus, you see that they complement each other. Mars being, Scorpio being opposite to Taurus, and Libra being opposite or balancing to Aries, being a complete 180 from where we are calculating, right? So Venus and Mars create a balance between each other, and what I want to initiate here is how many times people seek for pleasure, for feeling
Validation.
love, validation, feeling valuable, creating value, and things like that, and forget the Martian side, and how if you go too much into the Venus aspects, you might create a misunderstanding in general, just by going too much into the Libra area and, creating balance, creating relationships and things like that, values, and how Martian energy is important to be able to bring that Venusian side to a better, to a more prosperous side.
More purposeful.
Yeah, so you are really feeling validated. You are not seeking validation. You are not
already
struggling
being
because
valuable.
Exactly,
valued.
because that Martian energy, as you balance Mars with Venus, but as you go into Martian energy, you motivate yourself. You are able to bring that motivation, passion, right? Aries, expressing and creating new visions, ideas, how you want to see yourself, how you want others to, how you basically want create your own imaginations and your own passion. And with Scorpio being that internal and internal passion, where you create and stabilize your own emotion and feeling on something. So that's how then you balance Mars and Venus, is by being able to bring those opposites and create motivation and cut off people, places and things, be able to use that motivation, passion, aggression to go for your goals, to create that art, to create some form of expression and what you really want to do. So with Venus, you appreciate, you value the things that you manifest by expressing your own goals and motivations.
Yeah, and I think like in real life, these astrological alignments manifest in like people, because I think that in our society people are catering more to the Venusian side, being pretty, looking as like when we are communicating. I want to focus like when we are communicating, especially through the internet. You know, when you are teaming up to play some video games, you are teaming up to make video games or to make some type of business. People might call the Martian side ugly, or they might see it as aggressive or too much aggressive, you know? And you might lose certain associations, certain partnerships, certain teammates, because they cannot handle, or they see it as ugly, too rough, and they can't handle it, all right? But that doesn't mean you wrong by you being more Martian, by you being more Aries and Scorpio, expressing your feelings and holding on deeply to your values. Because if you don't do so, like Daria said, you can't cut off the wrong people, Aries, and you can't hold on to the right people, Scorpio. Even if you might be on the other side, you might be the one that thinks somebody is too rough and too aggressive. But you have to keep in mind that person, they might express themselves in a quote-unquote ugly way, but they are in your surroundings, the people you know, they might be the more motivated, the more purpose aligned, the ones that will truly help you achieve your goals. So don't choose people for your team, for your business, for your associations, just because they look good, just because they talk good, just because they talk smooth, because they might be not so as motivated. Remember that opposition between Venus and Mars. It's like passion and aggression versus or complemented by sophistication and calmness or beauty, you know? So don't fall short on both sides. Don't you think that others are ugly or the way they express themselves is more aggressive? Don't you just cast them out because of that? Remember, they might be the ones that have a more realistic or more passionate way to do the things you're doing together. So that's a positive. And don't be stuck on keeping people around you just because they talk good. Okay, so don't reject ugly, and don't maintain people around you just because they sweet or because they talk good, or because they talk about the same things you talk. You know, keep in mind it's for your business. Keep in mind your goals. And Mars is the goal is how by we experience Mars, Aries, and Scorpio, we know what goals we want to truly achieve. And then Venus, it's how we achieve them, or how we convince others to help us achieve our goals, you know? So keep that balanced, okay?
Indeed. And I think that many times when a person just looks good or wants to talk pretty and talk nice, many times they have like intentions behind closed doors, and they still use that Martian energy, but if they are not expressing it, or they are not showing that motivation behind the project that you are making together or something like that, there might be some things unexpressed, things behind closed doors that might not be clear, and things like that. That's how many people get fooled by like managers or companies in the Magic Square and things like that,
or business partners.
Yeah,
because then by you not using or not seeing the Mars energy in the right way, because you see ugly and you cast it aside, or you see aggressiveness and you cast it aside. You are open up yourself to be used by people that they are aggressive, they are passionate, they are ugly, but they don't show it. Because Mars is more internal,
Yeah.
Mars is more feminine. It rules fire and water constellations. They are both feminine. While Venus rules Taurus and Libra, which is earth and air. It is more masculine, more external. So they might hide really good with their Venus because they talk good, right? Or they look good. They might hide their ugly Mars. And then you are casting somebody away with a pretty Mars but a ugly Venus. I think it's more positive for you personally, because if you're building a business, you always need somebody do talks good, but you keep them at that job talking good. You don't bring them to the private table to discuss where the money go. You just give them the money. They don't know why they're receiving that amount. Just receive that amount and they talk good to the public, you know. What you should keep more to your closed doors, in my opinion, this is not advice in any way, just me expressing my opinion, is keeping a pretty Mars, aka somebody that shows you their true intentions, right? And an ugly Venus is not as bad, you know, because it helps you understand really how that person that is your teammate, right? How are they motivated and passionate about that thing? You can know it's about that thing because their Venus is not used to lie. It's not used to show one side, just one side. He can't. He always shows his true colors. And yes, I've seen in Twitter again, I believe, or on IG, somebody saying that they don't like how when people only say, oh, that person showed their true colors when you mad. You know, you see what I'm saying? This completely complements what I'm saying. People see you being mad or you showing your internal side, and they think that's bad. They think, oh, that person is revealing himself. That person is actually in that way. No, because our true colors is not just that. You know, when we happy, when we look good as well, we are showing our true colors as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So. Keep in mind that many people might be very sensitive to more aggressiveness or to more raw expressions, but that doesn't mean you doing something wrong. You can improve a little bit on your Venus, but at least that will help you attract and keep around you the right people, the right teamworks, the right teammates as well, because they can handle your Mars, and then you can use your Venus, or you can handle their Mars, and then you can relate later on in the base of Mars. So Mars, the intent, the motivation, the why we are doing this should be the basis, and then you build around the foundations with both of your Venus.
Yeah.
So I think Mars is more important. It's more important to keep around you real people that express their feelings, that don't keep things too hidden, or they keep things private from others around you, because they know that people doesn't need to know what's going on between you and them. Because then people that are too Venusian, they share everything, you know, with everybody.
But with Venus, you can actually be able to convey something without really saying it. So you, in certain circumstances, you are able to let that situation be smoother than it if you would be aggressive or too passionate, showing your
keep it cute.
keeping it cute. That's also the Venusian
Okay,
side.
that's another criteria. True, is somebody that they know when and where to show their Mars.
It's all about that circumstance.
Because then you have the extremes. You have extreme Venus. They never show their Mars, and then you have extreme Mars. They express their Mars everywhere, every time, and that's not good, because you might need to attract new teammates, and the teammate that you already have around, either they're super aggressive or they like super lazy, and they only care about relatability. They don't really care about achieving the goals. They just want to be a part of something. So you need to have both of your eyes open. You need somebody with a pretty Mars, but that knows when and where to use it. And that means that they know how to use Venus energy as well, but they are not lost in it. So, in more simple words, keep around you people that they show you their true colors, but they don't show to anybody, to every old else,
Yeah.
their true colors. They show you because you already built a relationship.
And Venus is all about like knowing when to lie as well.
True.
It's like that thing when certain times you really have to lie, you know? You really have to say something that doesn't it there takes away from a certain conclusion to certain people, because there are certain people that can take a certain truth that you would
A more
tell,
realistic,
more
raw
realistic
perspective.
because you know that their emotions would overtake them.
True.
Or
And lying is just like lying the foundations, or a lie. It's like a light. Lie. You can lie to make things lighter.
Yeah.
You know, and then that it's how you can use Venus, or how can you discern if a person uses Venus well or not. If you know when, if you see, if they know when and where to lie.
Yeah, because there are people that lie just all the time
Yeah.
for no reason.
They might lie to people that have nothing to do with your business, but they don't lie to you. They use Venus in the right times. You know what I'm saying? So, and the thing is, let's come back more to a fixed point, is when you are on the internet, because it's majorly how people communicate these days. This also applies to people that you know in your physical surroundings. But when you are, because even now people work a lot through the internet as well. So it's not just playing video games or creating art or making music. It's also quote unquote normal work, you know? So when we are on the internet, there is always a more masculine perspective. So by you showing your feminine side, it will always create more attention or opposition. So keep that in mind. But sometimes it's needed with the right people to show your Mars, so you can keep them around you, so they don't get distracted, or they don't get too light and float out of your goals, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's very technological, it's very distant. So showing that closeness, showing that femininity can make others feel too clingy, too sticky icky, and we don't like that in this quote unquote new age, the quote unquote Aquarius age, you know. But it's needed, you know. That's water. Water is the connection. Water is the relationship.
Rawness.
We need to show that water and fire, you know. But it's more tricky. It's not more complicated. It's more tricky.
It's more
But it's also
curvy.
more light. It has the positive. It's more light, or you have access to more people. So if something goes quote unquote wrong with a teammate or with a person you were creating art with, you have access to more people that have the same interests. So Venus is, or the more distant, the more masculine side is also helping in that area.
It's that balance, and that's why Saturn is also exalted in Venus, to really create
In Libra.
to really create that stance, that all those limits and boundaries established.
When
And
you are creating the relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the foundation. Using a more realistic, a more raw foundation, and then you build pretty nice, relatable things around it. Okay? And we are getting a bit scattered over here on this topic, and that scatteredness is introducing well to our second topic of the day, which is introduced by me, EsotericCloudSurfer, over here, right? And it's Gemini Energy. Okay, this is the second topic, because we are in Gemini season still. We are already on the last decan of Gemini. We are in the last 10 degrees, from 20 degrees to 30 degrees. So it's a more Aquarian, it's the Aquarius decan. So we are still doing Gemini things, but with more stability, with more uniqueness. And that's why it's the last, because we already spent 20 days doing Gemini things. So we are more familiar. We are more stable. We were building because you spend more time by default. So you accumulated, you got fixed, or you can use or see whom or where is fixed or where it's not. So you can do Gemini things with that people. So you limit the scatteredness and you improve the focus. All right? But Gemini energy, it's very important, and I already knew it, but now I know more about this little expression I came up with, which is Gemini energy equals closed mouths. Don't get fed, but open your mouth too much and you might be caught in a fisherman's hook. All right? So because that happens like with fishes, or like there is a saying in my native language like fishes with a big mouth, or when somebody is caught lying, they say that the fish was caught by the mouth, you know? And this goes very well with the squaring of Gemini with Pisces, all right? And Neptune is still in Pisces, so we have a good connection over there. So closed mouths don't get fed. That's a common saying, that's very true. You need to express yourself, you need to expand the universe, you need to speak your own individual unique perspective. Otherwise, you will not know who are the right people, places, and things for you and your purpose. But if you open your mouth too much and you share, aka you express and receive a lot of yours and others' dreams, illusions, imaginations, feelings, and why they are connected to something, you might be caught in a hook, and now you are stuck, or you are waiting for something, or you feel attached to something and you can't leave, and you might have a good opportunity and you are stuck in a place. You are there physically, but spiritually you are still coming back to that emotion or to that past image of yourself, or the past image or the past connection to your associations, you know? So that might, it's something that is happening or happened to you, or might be still be happening right now to you with this Gemini energy, is like talking, communicating, or thinking too much, because this can also happen internally. You think too much, or you think too scattered about a certain situation, a certain relationship, and because you thought so much about it, you created a lot of emotions and feelings about it. So now you are hooked to it. So you can be caught in an external, another person hook, another person feelings, ideas, and emotions, or you can be stuck in your own hook, and then you kind of like hurt on your side.
Yeah.
You're always walking like sideways, kind of, weird. And that's interesting because I want to connect these to the letter J and the letter G being hooks as well, like in Jesus, like in George, because George has the prefix geo, which means earth, and earth in itself can be a hook, and George in Latin is written with a J, Jorge. So Jesus and J and G comes from the same space. They are both hooks. Like Jesus was used for spirituality, for religion, and George Washington was used for politics and taking over of land, So Jesus was used to hook people, like people get addicted to gambling or to drugs or to alcohol or to coffee or to cigarettes.
To a certain desire.
Yeah, to a certain desire. Jesus was the hook to get people attached to the desire of emotional security, spiritual security. And George, like the prefix geo implies earth, was used to hook people to a sense of physical security. And in the Gemini season, what?
Making sense of their surroundings. Yeah.
Or making you feel secure because you feel you can make sense of your surroundings, but it
Yeah.
might just be a hook, it might just be a
Exactly.
clutch. That perspective might not be the reality, might
Yeah.
be propaganda,
Exactly.
might be misinformation,
Yeah.
you know.
Being like a mass dogma which wasn't true in the first place.
But because everybody's so Gemini, light, mutable about it, everybody should know it, everybody thinks it's real,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and
Yeah.
that happens a lot in our world, right?
Being stuck only in one perspective.
Yeah, but you are scattered about it, so you have the feeling you travel, you have the feeling you think about different things, but the hook, the emotional space that supports all of those travels is the same.
Yeah.
So you actually spiritually you don't travel to different places, you just create different minds in the same spiritual space.
Yeah.
So you create many ideas about the same thing, and that's the hook.
Keeps you distracted.
Yeah. So if you open your mouth too much, others around you know how to hook you. You know? So, like today's energies are reminding us with the sun in Gemini and the moon in Scorpio, you can be open mouth all you want in a relationship that is already secure, strong, and deep. Don't use the Gemini sun to create a deep relationship. Use the Gemini sun in a deep relationship
Real
as
shit.
well. Or you get hooked, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that thing of the J and the G was more just like a bit of a curiosity, because Jesus is a representation of the time where the sun was going through Pisces, or we were in the Pisces age. Because like Earth as a rising, right? The sun as a rising as well. And the sun has a big ass cycle. Earth has a cycle of 1 year, 365 days, right? Because that's not the cycle sun, that's our cycle. That's our days. You experience those days,
Yeah.
right? And the sun has its own cycle, which is bigger. So, like right now, what time is it? 6:46. So right now, I think quick astrological math. I think Scorpio is rising. Scorpio or Sag
Mm-hmm.
is rising right now.
Yeah.
You know,
Scorpio or Sag.
but in the sun perspective, it might be the same constellation rising, or it might not, but it takes more time to change the rising constellation. And when people say it's the age of Aquarius, it means that in the sun's perspective, Aquarius is rising, or sun in it's on its own cycle, which he has a bigger cycle, so he takes more time to travel through its cycle, but it's still the same 360. We are still in the same space, so it's still the same 12 houses, but the sun has a wider span. So the sun travels in bigger portions of those houses because the sun has more awareness. That's why it created a bigger body than you and than me. We have access to the same houses, but we don't go as further into. We don't go as wider into those houses because remember, I want you to imagine right now the zodiac wheel, a 360, and it's like pizza slices. And the further you go away from the center, the wider it gets. So the sun is traveling. The center is you. You are the center. It's not even the earth. It's you. It's the center of your natal chart, right? It's you, your spirit, your space. So the sun and Saturn, it's even further away from you. So you might have like right now, the sun going through your 9th house, like I have. The sun in Gemini is going through my 9th house, but it's going in it's still in the same 9th house, but going way further away. So imagine that, or open your natal chart and imagine that the wheel just gets bigger. It's still a 360, you know.
But it's more expanded.
It's a more expanded 360.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's not a 360, but it's something related to pi and to 9. It might be 720, 1080, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It might be not the same numbers, but it's the same ratio. That's what matters.
Yeah.
So they are doing the same thing as us, but in higher resolution. And keep in mind, the resolution on YouTube and Twitch and videos, it is 360, 720, 1080, you know. And that is all related with 369, the pi, the Fibonacci sequence as well, but that's out of the topic. So just to explain that the sun is in my ninth house, but the sun is exploring, traveling through a bigger space of the ninth house. Okay? So, yeah, Jesus was representing the Pisces age. And the Pisces age is when the sun is going through the 12th house on its own time. So for us, the sun through our year, the sun goes normally through Aries, Taurus, and Gemini, but the sun itself is going through a larger space. But in our perspective, because the Earth spins, we see the sun going through different houses, because those are our houses. But the sun, in its own perspective, if you lived in the sun, you will see the Earth in the 6th house for a long time. Because right now we are on Gemini season. The sun is, in our perspective, is in the 3rd house. That means the Earth is in the 9th house. Because we are kind of opposite to that.
Because we are facing the sun from whatever we are standing on and living in.
So if Jesus represents the Pisces age, Jesus and the letter J, it even has the form of a hook, means the hook that stings and gets the fish, the Pisces constellation.
Catch.
Your imaginations, your dreams, your illusions, your nightmares, your creativity, your deep connections with the spiritual world, your spiritual perspectives. So somebody else outside of you, they take all of your dreams, illusions, and imaginations, and they fish you. And what they do with the fish, they eat it. So they absorb, they use your dreams, illusions, and imaginations to do something. Okay? But it doesn't matter what they do, because the root cause is you giving them your dreams, illusions. It doesn't matter who is, just the fact you are giving them your dreams, illusions, just the fact you are being fished out of the ocean, out of the water, out of your emotions and feelings, into their land, into their table. It means you are not using you're not using your fish.
Your mind.
Yeah, somebody's fishing your fish. You're not using your fish.
And then you are waiting for someone to feed you.
Yeah. And they can keep you in their aquarius for a long time.
Yeah.
As a pet. Saved. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Jesus and Catholicism is about being saved. So they keep you hooked in their aquarium. You think you got a lot of space because you are so La La Landish, but you are always in the same aquarium.
Mm-hmm.
In the same box with water, in the same feeling, in the same space. But and fishes, when you see fishes swimming all together, it means they are sharing the same imagination. And you can take a fish out of that school, and you put a fish in a little water tank, and they still share the same imaginations. Yeah,
because they are in the same spiritual space.
Yeah, that's why they use the Pisces. Pisces, it means fish. Peixe is fish in Portuguese. Pisces, peixe, and Portuguese comes from Latin. So Pisces means fish in English, basically. So all those allegories, the fish being hooked, being brought into land, into jail, into George.
Yeah. Because even the names of the zodiacs and shit are all Latin.
Yeah, true. Leo means lion, right? Leão in Portuguese, Leo, Aquarius, aquarium, like a fish tank. Gemini, twins in Portuguese is gêmeos, Gemini, and Portuguese comes from Latin,
It's that J.
Scorpio, scorpion, escorpião, which is a scorpion in Portuguese. Taurus, bull in Portuguese is touro, Taurus, you know. Cancer, the name for the quote-unquote disease, cancer.
Or the crab.
Or the crab. Virgo, it means like you are a virgin in Portuguese as well, and Portuguese comes from Latin as well.
Mm-hmm.
Aries, the ram, carneiro in Portuguese.
Yeah, so those are all the lower animalistic natures, and the ones like Virgo, Aquarius.
They are not so
Gemini.
animalistic.
Yeah, so
Libra, which is like an object.
Yeah, so Gemini, Libra.
They are less animalistic. Yeah, for
so
sure.
Those are
for sure.
the ones that, are used to manage and to associate the other signs which are more
true.
animalistic.
Because like Aquarius is like the man or the fish tank where you keep the crab, Cancer, you keep the scorpion, and you keep the fish. So water is very animalistic. Fire is very animalistic. You have the ram, the lion, and a centaur, half man, half still animal as well. So, and then you have like objects, and you have Taurus, and Capricorn. Capricorn is also a centaurus, half man, half animal as well. So you only have like Aquarius, the man or the fishing tank, the Aquarius, Libra, which is the scales, Gemini, which is like two people or two thoughts, Virgo, which is like a virgin or somebody, a mind that didn't experience yet. So those are not animalistic. So that's 4 out of 12. And 4 is, in numerology, associated with thinking, communicating, giving a shape and form, putting things in order. So it makes sense. We have 4 logical, non-animalistic signs. Because then we have Ram, Aries, Bull, Taurus, Crab, Cancer, Lion, Leo, Scorpion, Scorpio, Centaurus, Sag, Centaurus, Capricorn, and Fish, Pisces. Yeah. And the Centaurus are close together in Sag and Cap.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Indeed. And the Pisces is like the 2 fishes.
2 fishes, yeah.
Indeed.
So we have a lot of animals, and then we have no animals, representing a more logical, more managing, more balancing, controlling resources, and the animals are the resources, the ideas, the feelings, the emotions, the purposes, and then the 4 objects or the 4 non-animals use or manage or limit or rationalize, as in when you have little amount of food and you need to ration your food, you need to rationalize your animalistic natures. Boom. That's a good one.
Indeed.
And this will take us to the last topic of the day, which is don't be a victim, be a witness. And what do we mean by this? I will be quick about this because I want this to be clear and simple. It's just like instead of you thinking or feeling something happened to you or that somebody did something to you, you be like, no, I did that. I was a part of it.
And you know what?
Or I observed that.
I took my own conclusion about that.
So now you are a witness. You witnessed something. It's not like something attacked you. You saw an attack or you witnessed an attack. Because that thing didn't attack you. You didn't allow that to attack you.
Exactly.
It just passed right through you.
Yeah.
Spiritually speaking.
Because you're a spirit.
And that's how physically speaking you can be in the middle of a shooting and no bullet comes near you.
Yeah, because you have a purpose, you have an intention.
Because you are not a victim, you are a witness.
Yeah, real shit.
Because we can call the spirit a thing, but we can say that it does something, and it's an observer. It's not just an observer, but the spirit observes. So the spirit is always a witness. So when you leave that space and you become a victim, now you are something. So now you are out of all possibilities. So you're not being spiritual anymore. You are a lost spirit. You are a spirit that forgot it was a spirit. You are a spirit that thinks it is something, and that spirit thinks it's the victim. So the spirit is in that stage is at least lost in two lights.
Yeah.
The mind, because the spirit thinks. Spirits don't think. Minds think. So the spirit needs to create the mind. Then the mind thinks that the mind it's a victim. So the mind doesn't see itself as the mind sees itself as a victim. So the spirit is way lost into the mind, into the victim.
Yeah.
But if you remain a witness, you remain the spirit, and you see all of that going on, and you be like, nah, I'm not going.
Yeah.
Or if I'm going, I know I'm going to do this,
Yeah.
to get that gem, to reach that place.
Indeed, and that's what you see in the J. You see the I and the U in the bottom. So it's when you go like EU, and then you
true.
get hooked in that
Yeah.
spiral, and you go in a certain direction. But if you remain in that I, spiritually
Yes,
speaking,
if you
your
remain
high
straight,
yeah,
Yeah.
you use your mind for what it's made for. It's to be individual.
yeah,
You remain the owner of that hook. You are not
Yeah.
hooked.
because being hooked, or like Pisces, like energy, is very much victim energy.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
many people that think they are spiritual, they are just acting as victims. You know,
Mm-hmm. Because it's out of their emotions.
true,
Most
and
of
they
the
think
times.
somebody is spiritually
Yeah,
attacking them.
Because then they use their faith for what it's not made for.
True.
Why are you waiting for someone to rescue you while you're not doing anything?
True, always waiting for somebody to bring you the solution.
Yeah,
You are
because
the solution.
Faith without works doesn't work. There is no faith without works.
True.
You have to have faith in what you do.
You have to have faith in yourself,
Yeah,
not in the cause. You participate in the cause for yourself.
real shit.
You know, and being a witness is like you be a witness. You have to create a mind state that even if something bad happens to you, you be like, I'm glad I went through that experience, because if I didn't went through that experience, I wouldn't learn this, or I wouldn't know how to do that, or I wouldn't know that I don't want to go that way. If I didn't went that way, if I didn't went into the forest, I wouldn't know that I don't like to go to the forest. So,
Yeah.
so now I can build my house in the beach.
Or now I know
You
that
know.
where the passages go.
Yeah. So you are a witness, you're not a victim. Like, oh, I was lost in the forest and the forest was so scary. It's like, no, the forest was scary, but I'm
Mhm.
glad I went into the forest.
Yeah.
Because I know I don't want to go back. You know, things like
shit.
that, things
Real
like that.
shit.
You want to add something more to this topic?
Because this brings to you being inspired by your own deeds and by your own actions and what you choose to do, because you do not regret whatever you did. You are not complaining. You are building up on whatever you experienced, and whatever it was, it's something that led you to the moment that you are in right now.
Indeed. And then you have a choice to see that as a winning situation, because even if you get hurt emotionally or physically, it's always experience. It's always something that you can use to learn. Or you choose to be a victim and you think something bad happened to you,
Mhm.
or that you are unlucky. And keep in mind, when you think you are lucky, you are being a victim as well, because you are saying God did that for you, or you were lucky. No, you did that. You did that miracle. It was not luck, because luck is something. You are not luck. Luck is something else. So when you say I was lucky, you are not saying I was myself or I did that. You were lucky. You weren't yourself. You were lucky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, being lucky, something within its own.
Yeah.
It's not even.
True. Lucky is something on its own.
And it starts with L, so you already know where it leads.
To lies, to light, to lostness. So it's not yourself. It's not you. It's luck. It's lucky. So when you say I was lucky, you are being a victim as well.
Yeah. So always keep your own spiritual strength and remain upholding your own limits and boundaries, and know what to take as for your own. Take your own accountability for shit.
Spiritual responsibility.
Yeah. And
you made that happen. You manifested that.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, your feelings, your ideas, your emotions, how much time you spent in those thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions, how much energy, how much life you gave to those thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions manifest mentally, emotionally, and physically.
Real shit.
And that's how we created this world, and the bodies and the minds we are in, and the elements of the periodic table, the water, your consoles, your PCs, the materials that make them. And because, quick example, to make a PC, you need the materials, right? But you also need the schematics, where to put the materials, different dispositions, arrangements, forms. You need to make a ship and then put a ship inside of something. You know? So you need the materials and you need the order of the materials.
Real shit, textures.
As well.
All
Just
of those
a
things.
quick. So we create the materials and we create the ideas to use the materials. So we all together created the elements to make a computer, and then somebody individually came with the idea to use the materials that we all created to make a computer.
Real shit. With a higher perspective.
But if we all of us together didn't create the materials, nobody could create a computer.
Exactly.
Even if they had 1 million ideas about computers, they couldn't create it because there would not be the right materials for it.
The composition, the environment has to be created first.
So the spirit that created the computer influenced the overall number of spirits to create the necessary materials to create the computer using an idea.
Indeed. So they can enjoy their work.
Yeah.
And experience, have fun.
And then you know the space the computer came from by looking at the computer, by using the computer, and see what you can do with the computer. You can communicate, so you know the spirits that created computers and the materials for it, they wanted to communicate. They wanted to organize. They wanted to see different realities, aka play games, video games. They wanted to keep a lot of information in a safe space or in the same space. They wanted to calculate stuff. They wanted to create things like bots or programs to make life easier. So by default, you know, they were smarter, more sophisticated, more wise spirits.
Indeed.
And that's how you explain civilizations evolving. It's when a spirit was in a body, it experienced, it died, and then it comes back or it goes to another realm with more experience. So now they can use certain materials to create certain objects. Because imagine, you generally, you don't jump from world to world. Generally, you spend at least 2 lifetimes in the same world. It's not like the rule, but it's, in my perspective, the generality. At least the minimum is like 2 lifetimes in the same realm. So you can come, imagine you came to Earth 200 or 2000 years ago, or older than that, because then you have the physical experience, and then you come back as a spirit and you experience in a spirit as well, and then you can come back to Earth. So you can spend a lot of time in the spiritual realm as a spirit, or in lighter minds before you come back. So it's not linear, right? But imagine you came here before and you experienced physically in a body, bug, animal, human, whatever. Then you died and you came back to the spiritual world. And alongside with all of the other spirits that were waiting to exist in a physical body, you started to create smaller bodies that are the materials necessary to make a computer. And then later on, when you come in a body, you have the idea to, or you hear somebody telling you that, oh, I found those materials, and then you go check that out. Oh, I can use those materials for this, and then you or a group of people create a computer. So you as a spirit created the materials, and then when you are in the body, you use the materials to create a computer from an idea that you created as a spirit.
Indeed.
You know?
So you are reconnected to that exact
Yeah.
idea.
So you can come back to a world various times to create more things and more things that you want to experience as a spirit.
Indeed.
Yeah, so like you there, you die, you come back to a spirit, you start to create the materials, then you can even come back and be a crystal, be a gem, or be a tree that will become some material later. Because I believe many crystals and gems are petrified trees, right? And then you come back as a human to use the trees that you created before to build something, you know?
Shit.
So in that case, it's literally always you and somebody else.
Exactly.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Teamwork makes the dream work, and you create the environment to create a whole world,
Indeed.
And planet and solar system.
And spiritually, a world is just a group of spirits.
Yeah.
And then physically, the world is what we all manifest together.
What we create, yeah.
So guys, it's the end of today's episode of Spirit to All. I hope every spirit enjoyed. I hope Miss Aria had a good time.
Yes, I did. Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun, and I wish you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check EsotericCloudSurfer's Patreon. He publishes videos there exclusively to Patreon, having also etymology, yes. Etymology zodiac breakdown, so it's very interesting. Make sure to support him there, and thank you so much for watching. I wish you enjoyed, and make sure to stay unique individual, and to always focus on your own individuality, on your own creativity, so you can create a better world for yourself, and take accountability for whatever you are doing, because you are doing a big part in your own life and the life of the ones that you are connected to spiritually and physically.
Indeed. I hope you enjoyed, and that we see you next time. Bye.
Bye.